Okay, so here we are. Sorry, literally can't say the phrase, and here we are, without thinking of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And here we are. And here we are. And here we are. I'm like, I fucking love that game. The game is so good. I don't think it's my favorite Kirby game, but it's up there. Anyways, I'm going to get super off track because we're not talking about video games today. That was part 3 of 5 parts, and we are now on part 5 of the 2023 Everything Tier List, talking about movies. And as you can see right here at the top, yeah, the DreamWorks movies we watched this year, they're included here. And as you can see in the bottom, here's another DreamWorks movie, because even though I labeled the DreamWorks movies and, like, their images, I put the, like, DreamWorks first so they could all be together, and then I could talk about the rest of the movies. For some reason, when these got uploaded, they got fucked. They got scrambled. Like, the John Wick movies ended up being together. Here's a Kung Fu Panda. Here's a Kung Fu Panda. I don't even know where the other one is. Oh, there it is. See, I don't know why they're all so far apart. And as much as I would have loved to have said, fuck it, let's put them all together, and then we'll record. No, fuck it. We'll do it live. We're just gonna go movie after movie, and if we're talking about Shrek 4 before we talk about Shrek 3, that's just how it's gonna be. If this is Madagascar and we don't get to Madagascar 3 till wherever the fuck it is, that's just how it's gonna go. So, let's get started. Let's go ahead and go. But actually, before I get started, I have to do what I always do. Explain what all of these tiers mean to me. So you know, if I'm arguing between putting something in a C tier or a B tier, you know what that means for me. Starting at the bottom, we have the bottom of the fucking barrel. It means it's the worst, it's the trash. There are 3 requirements for it. Number 1, it has to be something at the bottom of the list. Pretty self-explanatory for being the bottom of the fucking barrel. Number 2, has to be actively disliked. So if out of all of these movies, I don't know how many this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 42, 30, fuck, my brain isn't bad about, okay, so 21 times 3 would be 64? No, 21, that'd be 63. 64, 65, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, oh, there's Shrek, 12, 13, 14, 15, so I believe this is 75 movies, fuck, I watched 75 movies this year, damn, of these 75 movies, if there was none that I actively disliked, then there would be no bottom of the fucking barrel, although, trust me, there's a good handful that might be in contention for this title. And then on top of that, it's not only are you at the bottom, it is not being actively disliked, it is being so disliked with so much venom and disdain that I don't think I could have seen something worse. That of everything here, it's you. You are the worst. Congratulations. And it is not by default because there was nothing else that much worse. No. You earned your distinction of being dog shit. Now, like I said, apparently we have 75 movies, and I've already been rambling long enough. Let's get the ramble train a-going. Let's continue, starting with Madagascar. And like I tend to do, I like to put something in about the middle of the screen, so about the B or the C tier, and then we'll put it wherever it's gonna go when I'm done talking to it. For these DreamWorks movies, when they pop up, a lot at the start, and then sporadically about, I'm gonna kind of try to speed run them, because not only have I done specific, like, shorter videos on most of these movies, I think all of these movies, actually, we've also done a separate tier list on them. So for Madagascar, it's a movie I don't find particularly funny. I don't find the characters particularly endearing. I don't hate... Sorry, I just heard Jose laugh. He's been watching 30 Rock, and I was not sure initially if someone was screaming in pain or if someone was laughing. He's laughing. He's having a good time. Unfortunately, I can't say that much of the same when I was watching Madagascar 1. I think it's a C tier movie. I don't think it's very good. There's maybe some jokes here and there. I enjoy the penguins. I think the idea of Alex struggling with his internal predator is pretty interesting, but overall I don't think the movie is very good. The B movie, I want to put it in B tier just for the meme, but here's the thing. I did not think I was going to enjoy this movie very much. I thought B movie was going to be... but like, I thought it was just going to be not good. Like, it's kind of funny. It's kind of weirdly memey funny, but nothing really beyond that. I was howling almost the entire movie. I was cracking up. I found it hilarious. I had put it as an S tier, and I will go ahead and say right now... Oh, wait, I actually didn't explain all my fucking tiers. What the fuck? I'm sorry. I just kind of realized it's like, alright, let me explain the tiers. Bottom of the fucking barrel. That's all you need. Let's start talking. Fuck. Bottom of the fucking barrel, I explained. F. F is for failure. That just stuff. It's for failure. It's for fucking trash. It's for absolute dog shit. It means I hated it. D and C, I like to say they're the twins. They're the mid-twins. It's like, it's fine. D is more disappointing and, like, more aggressively mediocre. Where's Turbo? I don't even really have to say, like, to me, Turbo is the definition of a D-tier movie. I don't think it is bad enough to be an F. I don't think it's complete dog shit trash. Or, like, there's nothing really here. I've never seen this movie before, and I feel like I've seen this movie 100 times because it adds nothing original. Hey, look, though, there's Snoop Dogg. That's kind of cool, I guess. But aside from that, like, there's kind of nothing to it. A C-tier movie like Madagascar, it's something I find I'm very neutral on. Like I was saying, like, I don't find the movie that funny, but there's enough funny things in there for me to not hate it. I think the actual idea of Alex struggling with his inner predator, like I was saying earlier, is a really interesting idea. But I just don't really get into it. I don't like the look of the movie. I don't like how rubbery it is. And it's, let me take that back. It's not how rubbery the movement is, because I kind of find that fun and really energetic. It's how plastic the movie is. Like, there is this sheen of plasticness to everybody, and I just think they look bad. I think they look unappealing. It's just not something I care for. A B-tier movie. This is something I feel like I respect it more than I like it. Like, I'm not like, damn, dude, this movie is great. I could gush about it. There's aspects of the movie I can, but overall, it's not super my thing. But there's things about it I want to praise. A tier. This is shit I'm gushing about. I absolutely adore it. S. You are in contention for being my favorite of whatever category. So getting into there with B movie, when we were talking solely about DreamWorks, it was an S tier movie, because I think it's arguably the funniest DreamWorks movie, with just how much fun I had with it. I'm gonna keep it an S for now, but when the S tier starts building up with all these fucking movies, I reserve the right to change my mind and go like, this is an S tier DreamWorks film, but compared to everything else this year, I'm going to move it down to A tier. We'll keep it here for now. The double S means this is the king. This is my absolute favorite of whatever we're talking about. This was my favorite movie. I might have a few S tiers, or excuse me, double S's. I might do this is the best live action. This is the best animated film. I watched John Wick 4 when it came out. Wait, that one's 4, that one's 3. I watched John Wick 4, and then I rewatched the other John Wick movie, so I might just say, like, here's my double S of that. I watched, like, the good half of the Mission Impossible movies, so I might have a double S for that. I might not. Like, we'll see how it goes. We'll go as we go, so let's go ahead and keep on going. We're trying to run through DreamWorks. Captain America. Fuck. Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. Honestly, like, I'm not a Captain Underpants guy. I was alive when the books came out. I was a kid when the books came out. And it was the kind of thing I looked at and said, my mom would not let me read this. She's going to say this looks really stupid. No. But I can definitely see the appeal of, like, the evil teacher, principal dude, and hypnotizing him so he makes an absolute ass of himself. I really liked the two kids and how they just want to be creative and have fun. There's a lot of good visuals in the movie. I actually think it's very pretty. It's very energetic. I had a great time with it. I would honestly give it an A. Home. No, I overshot that. This is a contender for being bottom of the fucking barrel. And you know what? If I got a few double S's, I might have a few down here. There's a few I can think about that can earn bottom of the fucking barrel. Home is one of them. As you've seen in some of the other 2023 tier list videos, video games especially, I had an additional tier. I had the Snoop Dogg tier, which is for things that, like in his song, I dropped it like it was hot. These are movies. A movie is not something I should drop because it's only like an hour and a half, 2 hours or so. With some exceptions. Looking at you, Killers of the Flower Moon, wherever you are. That's a long motherfucker. This is only like 90 minutes. And Clay and I dropped it after 11. It is so aggressively annoying. The energy in this movie does not make me go like, yeah, this is fun. Like the way that Madagascar does, even when it's not that funny, it just makes me go, why am I doing this? The way just the word boov, I hate. Looking at the boov, I hate them. Listening to them talk, I hate them. Everything in this movie is terrible. Clay, do you agree with me? Isn't Home absolute fucking dog shit trash? Yeah. Thank you. Give it up for Clay, everybody. He made a cameo appearance in this episode. He was letting one of the dogs out. I was like, you know, if I'm talking about Home, I'm going to address him real quick. He hates Home about as much as I do. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. This is a genuine contender for being absolute bottom of the fucking barrel dog shit. Monsters versus Aliens. I don't remember where I put this. I remember it being a movie I was not looking forward to watching. I remember it not being funny and not very good. Rewatching it, I think it's okay. I think there are aspects of it that I kind of like. But no, I think it's more of a C tier. Thinking about it, it's like, alright, what happened in this movie? What are some of the jokes? Boy, I'm not remembering a lot, which is not a good sign. But I think I liked Susan, and that's not... Yeah, I like it. I'm sorry, Actually, have I ever done the Susan voice on the channel? I don't know. I have a character who... So we were watching, this was a few years ago. I remember this is around the time Piranha Plant was added into Smash Ultimate. Completely coincidental to what I'm talking about, but I just remember it being around the same time. Clay and I were watching Watamote, and I fucking loved it because I love how much of a gremlin Tomoko is. And from watching Tomoko, it inspired me to make my own gremlin character, and her name is Susan. We then started playing a D&D campaign, and it was like my first time really making a D&D campaign. So I was like, alright, I am gonna make Susan my character. And it really codified a lot of her personality. So Susan is this very grody, gross girl who was all about 4 things: bread, sex, the color yellow, and spiders. It's just the 4 things that she loves, and it can be in any order. And I had so much fun playing Susan that I wrote her into one of my stories as a side character. And she just keeps appearing in other things. There'll be slight variations to her character, maybe slight variations to her personality. But she's just this, like, she is a, where is it? She's a fucking common event. No, not common event, canon event, I'm sorry. She's a canon event, bro. And the way she talks like this. So when I hear the name Susan, that is who I think of, and in my brain, I just start doing the voice. And if I hear the name Susan, my brain immediately just goes, I want some bread. And if I see a spider, I might go Susan. If I'm just, like, eating some bread, I'm like, yeah, it's good bread. Anyways, this is a pretty C-tier movie. Peabody and Sherman. This is bad. I really don't like this. As you can tell from the DreamWorks movies, I already talked about them enough. I'm not really going to put him in B when I'm talking about him, because we're trying to speedrun this shit. This is a movie I fucking hated. Not enough is this. It is not bad enough for bottom of the fucking barrel. It is a movie I found... I don't remember... Yeah, I did find it annoying. it is a movie with a lot of pun-based humor, and pun-based humor is that kind of thing where I am either in it and think it's hilarious or I think it's annoying. For whatever reason, I don't even think I was in a bad mood. I just did not click with any of the puns, and I think a lot of it is like Peabody will make a pun and Sherman will go, ha 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 ha. I don't get it. And it just, to me, made the joke that much unfunnier every time. What was her name? Penny, I think was the name of the girl. I could not stand her. She was fucking awful. The conflict that Peabody and Sherman get into, I didn't like. There's this whole thing about how you're a bad father to this boy and blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking to myself, the movie is trying to convince me that he's not, that he's this great father. You know, he's a genius and he's teaching his son all these wonderful lessons and all this cool shit and his time machine. Bro, you brought your son to the French Revolution on the day Marie Antoinette. The answer is always Marie Antoinette. Sorry. In one of my stories, there's a character who's French, and there's this, like, really dumb joke where they're doing, like, a group Jeopardy event. And it's like for like a group bonding thing, and with the category it's like French history. And without hearing the question, she immediately just responds Marie Antoinette and tells her friends the answer is always Marie Antoinette, and it has nothing at all to do with the French Revolution. And I'm sorry, like, it's a really dumb joke, but it makes me laugh, and I just always think of that. The answer is always Marie Antoinette. But why the fuck would you bring your son to the French Revolution? Like, no. I think you are a bad father. That's so dangerous. And what do you know? Your son almost fucking died. This is an F-tier movie. It's not home bad, but it's an F-tier movie. Rise of the Guardians. You know, I'll be a little nice to it. This is a movie where I'm like, there's a lot of kind of minor things that don't really work about its story, about its lore. I'm like, wait, I don't think that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes any sense. Oh, we're doing this? Okay. Santa's so fun in this movie, and the, like, aggressively Australian Easter Bunny. I'm like, I don't know if they wanted to make the Easter Bunny Australian. Did I say the Easter Bunny? Ugh. I don't like that. I don't know if they meant, if they always intended for the Easter Bunny to be Australian, so they casted Hugh Jackman, or if Hugh Jackman was attached to the movie, and then they said, fuck it, let's make him Australian. I don't care. It's great either way. I think Jack is a really fun character. I think Pitch Black is a fun character. I like how understated Jude Law plays the role. And it's not like fear is trying to overwhelm you. It is that fear is trying to seduce you. I think that's really cool. This is a movie I feel like I do respect it more than I like it. The bad guy, it's kind of in this B to C-ish range. I'm like, do I respect... It's a heist movie. I feel like I have to put it here. I do respect it more than I like it. It's a heist. I love me a good heist. There's some fun things in here. I also remember there being just some jokes that didn't work, some ideas that didn't quite work. I remember putting it in B and saying, this is the quintessential DreamWorks movies, because I remember there being more B-tier movies in DreamWorks than anything else. Maybe that's a little wrong, but that sounds about right. Speaking of which, Boss Baby, that's a B-tier movie. Which surprises me. I remember going into this, Clay and I were like, dude, we have to do a double feature of, like, both Boss Baby movies, or, like, Boss Baby and Spirit 2, because I think Spirit 2 and Boss Baby were back-to-back, and, like, this is going to be so bad. This is going to be a bottom of the fucking barrel movie. If not, it's going to be an F-tier movie. There's no way. It's going to be so... No. We were saying about Boss Baby 2. That's it. Because Boss Baby 1, we're like, this is not going to be good. This is going to be terrible. I did not hate this movie, as shown by me putting it in B. I respect it more than I like it. I respect all the restraint that it showed in a lot of its jokes. I respect that, as insane and dumb as the idea is, it makes a lot of sense in context, because it's told from the perspective of a kid with an overactive imagination. And yeah, like, when a kid has been an only child and then the baby is coming in and is demanding everyone's attention, he might feel like the baby is taking over the family and is trying to phase him out. Like, there's a lot of things in here that make sense. Huh? Now, did I actually think it was that funny? Unfortunately, no. Do I feel like a lot of the heartwarming moments are truly earned, like him singing Blackbird to his brother? I mean, I love that song, very good, but like, I don't know, I don't quite buy this relationship, but I can respect what they're going for here, and it's a lot more than I was expecting. Then there's this shit, which is an S-tier movie, because like, this is fucking funny! Oh my god! How the hell is Boss Baby 2 one of the funniest DreamWorks movies? This was actually... Who wants to play Shawshank? I got such a big laugh out of that. I feel like it's a little less clever than the first movie, but it's clever enough, and I was just laughing, and I wasn't laughing at it. I was laughing with it. I had a genuinely really good time with Boss Baby 2, and I'm just as surprised as you are. Speaking of which, the fucking... I don't know where Trolls 3 is. We'll find it when we find it. We will go as we go until we... Fuck. Now I'm actually distracted. There it is. There's Trolls 3. I think that's 3, 2, and then 1. These are all at least... I guess you're on an S tier? Sure, I guess. But it's like, I really like all these movies. I think they're really funny. I think they're really colorful. They have so much imagination. Watching this right after this, what an experience that was. Like, wow. It's like, imagine being in a desert. You haven't had water in days. The sun is beating on your back. The sweat is dripping from your brow. It's going down your face, and it's just trickling into your mouth. But instead of feeling a little bit refreshed at that little bit of moisture, all you're tasting is the salt, and your lip shrivels up and dries up a little bit more. That's what watching Wish is like, and then you watch Trolls 3 and you're like in a fucking oasis. It's beautiful. It's energetic. It's funny as fuck. The songs are actually good. It does everything the last movie was trying to do, but actually does it right. And it has Muppets, and it implies Muppet fucking, and you're like, what? I did not need to know this, but I am now fascinated in how a troll doll and a Muppet mate, because they can do that. Like, you remember that one episode of Dragon Ball Abridged? When Vegeta and Nappa go to the bug planet? Hey, Vegeta, I'm curious how they breed. I felt that watching Trolls 3, and I don't like that. I don't like what that says about me. I'm like, I need to get the National Geographic episode on this shit. What the fuck? But it was great. Now, between all three of them, I'm like, alright, are these all three S-tier movies? I don't think so. I think Trolls 1... Is Trolls 1 my least favorite? Like, this one is special because I watched it right after this shit, which elevates this movie a lot. And also, like, I love boy bands, bro. I grew up in the fucking 90s. I know I've talked about this movie before on the channel, probably when we were talking about this. I grew up watching Spice World. I am a proud, multi-time viewer of Spice World. I have Backstreet Boys CDs. I mean, technically, they're like my sisters, but I've listened to them. Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. I mean, I don't think I have anything from, like, 98 Degrees or anything like that. I listen to One Direction. I like One Direction. I don't give a fuck. Won't you stay till the AM? I like that song. I remember specifically, there were these two people I hung out a lot with at Pepperdine. They were great friends of mine. And whenever we would go hang out, there was some weird glitch in her car where it would always immediately start playing that song by One Direction. And I don't know, it just worked. I just like it. I like other One Direction songs too. So, like, fuck, boy band stuff. I love this. Battle of the Bands and all the different kinds of, like, music shit. I love this. This movie's just funny as fuck. It's so creative. There's this whole segment of Poppy going, I'm gonna go see the world, and I'm gonna save my friends, and it's gonna be great. And as she's singing about how great it is, she's nearly killed by like 50 different things, and her enthusiasm is slowly draining, and it's hysterical. There's that fucking moment, like that montage of Branch interrupting events because the Bergens are coming, with the implication that he pushed a dude hard enough to kill him and like give him a heart attack or something. And then later he goes to that guy's funeral, like, the Bergens are coming, and pushes open the casket. I laughed so hard at that. Like, Clay and I had to rewind it. Oh, these movies are great. Like, they're kind of all S-tier movies. Now, we'll see as we fill out the rankings, but damn. This one's bad. I gave no shits about anyone in this movie or anything in this. Wait a second. Where's the first one? I don't see Spirit 1 on the list, but there's a non-zero chance we actually watched it in 2022 because we started the DreamWorks Marathon, I believe it was November 22. Excuse me. So I will accept that for now. But yeah, this movie dog shit. It is pretty fucking bad. Speaking of dog shit, Avatar 2, Avatar The Way of Water, Avatar 2, second verse, same as the first. In terms of its script and its story and its characters, this movie is not good. I remember thinking to myself, I think I said this to Dylan after we saw the movie, I was like, dude, this was a 3-hour amusement park ride that I couldn't get out of. Like a good amusement park ride, it's fun to look at. It's fun to experience. I watched this movie in IMAX 3D, and it was phenomenal. I loved looking at it. I loved listening to, well, not listening to the dialogue. It's not good. But just being in the world. When you're in the forests, when you're in the water. I love it. I really do. When Avatar 3 comes out, I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna go see it in IMAX. And I bet the same shit's gonna happen. I'm gonna leave the theater and go, that was a 3-hour amusement park ride. That was way longer than it needed to be. I have no desire to ever watch this movie again. This movie is not good. I don't care about its plot. I don't care about its characters. I don't want to say I don't care about the theme, because the theme is about nature. Nature is beautiful. Nature is wonderful. But make me care about the people in the nature. Like, don't make them just bland and uninteresting or annoying, man. But it's pretty as fuck. But the effects were decent. They are decent, man. I'll put it there. Because I feel like when I say I respect it more than I like it, visually, yes. But boy, I hated damn near everything else. I think there were parts that I kind of almost liked and almost cared for, but I think it all balances out to a C tier experience. It's kind of around here-ish, because I think I'll put it there. This is a movie that is not nearly as funny as the first three. And say what you will about Shrek the Third, I actually think it's pretty fucking funny. I think the whole, bad future, monkey's paw, wish kind of shit, I love shit like that. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. I love Rumpelstiltskin a lot. But it's the kind of movie that, for me, is kind of dead on arrival. It starts with a premise. Okay, so the idea of Shrek being so frustrated with his life and his wife that he'd be willing to trade that, I don't buy it. I can buy him being stressed, I can buy him being tired, but I don't buy to that degree. And I know he's drunk, but I feel like even drunk, Shrek is kind of smart enough to suss out, whoa, something's wrong here. Which he's even doing in the movie. Like, I don't know. I think it's on way too shaky ground. Yeah, the foundation is too shaky for the rest of the movie to truly work. And while I like the movie that I get afterwards, I don't think I like it so much that it really makes up for that first third. But I think it's alright, so I think a C tier feels pretty accurate for Shrek Forever After. I can't, even as a joke. This is a genuine contender for a bottom of the fucking barrel movie. I don't even know if it's my bottom of the fucking barrel for Disney, because Frozen 2 is dog shit. Home on the Range is dog shit. But I think these make up my bottom 3. I talked a lot of shit on Sword in the Stone. I'd rather watch Sword in the Stone than Wish. I really don't like the Three Caballeros. Like, anytime I think of that movie, I just think of Horny Donald, and I'm like, I did not need Horny Donald in my life. Like, at least Wish has a coherent... I can't believe what I was about to say. I was about to say at least Wish has a coherent plot. I'm like, no, it doesn't. It has a plot, I think. It's not coherent. It doesn't make any sense. It's the kind of movie... There's a part of me that almost loves Wish. Ironically. Let me say that. Because it manages to do almost everything wrong. And it's fascinating. I love it because it teaches me what not to do. How to not write a villain. Because Magnifico is written to be sympathetic and completely unhinged at the exact same time, and it doesn't quite work, and there's a way they could have done it, there's an interesting middle ground, and they just don't do it. The fact that his wife, the queen, has no... Like, despite the fact she's like, I love my husband, he means the world to me, but I understand I have to help the people when shit goes wrong. Like, I love that. I think that's really good. Once he goes evil, there is no attempt to try to save him on her part. There is no sense of, I regret what I have to do, or can we save him? I want to save him, because this isn't him. This is the book. This is the evil magic. Nope. No one cares. I fucking hate Asha, because to me, she's not only a nothing burger. Why does she want to become Magnifico's apprentice? Is it because she loves magic and thinks it's really cool, or she has this burgeoning talent that she's trying to work on, so she wants to become the sorcerer's apprentice? Come on, you couldn't even play that song like once. You're trying to do all these other references. Come on, it was right there. But anyways, point. Is it because of that? No. Is it because I love my country and my kingdom so much that I want to do everything I can to help the people of it? A little bit, but it really does come across as mostly because if I become his apprentice and I become close to him and I get to know about the wishes, I can put in a good word for my grandpa, because he's 100 years old, and his 100th birthday is on the day of the wish granting, so maybe he could get his wish granted. Which, granted... No pun intended. But granted, that's a sweet thing. She just wants to help old Pop. That's great. And when Magnifico says to her, wow, you haven't even gotten the job yet, and you're already pulling strings and asking for favors. You know, most people at least wait a few months before they start trying to pull this shit. He's right. And with Asha trying to say, no, that's not at all what I mean. That's exactly what you meant. Is it selfish? Arguably no, because it's for someone else. But you are trying to use this new position to help your family. You are trying to get favors. Not because you want to learn magic, not because you think the king is cool, not to help the people. You are trying to help your people. Which, granted, again, you always want to help your people, your family, your friends, yourself. Like, I don't want to say, there's times when it's okay to be selfish. But you also have to be conscious of context. And in the context, Asha, you don't look like a good person. There's also the fact that everyone willingly gives their wish to the king. And it's not like everyone is super depressed and fucked up as a result. Yeah, Sleepy over here is, but it seems that he's how do I want to say this? I had something in my head, and I think I was going to say, he's a couple shakes short of a lamb's tail. And I'm like, does that even make sense? I don't know. I don't know what I was going for there. But his lack of energy or anything isn't really matched by the rest of the kingdom. And it comes across more as it's because he's just Sleepy the Dwarf, rather than man, not having his wish has fucked him up, which he does talk about, but pretty much no one else does. So you're left with the belief that when the king says, I take your wish, so you don't have to live with the, you don't have to live with the anxiety of not knowing if your wish is going to come true, or the disappointment of never having it granted. That's why I take it from you. It comes across as genuine. When he and Asha are singing that song that goes on for way too long about how beautiful wishes are, you can see he's genuine. He doesn't take their wishes so like, oh, I can steal your will so you will become my loyal subjects to never question me. It isn't, I'm taking your wishes because I'm using them to like power myself or power my magic or power my machine, blah, 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 blah. No, it comes across as genuine. And Asha's problem is you steal wishes on the promise that they might be granted, and then you don't grant most of them. Yeah. Everyone knows that. They're willingly giving him the wishes, knowing he only grants a few. That's kind of the point. If I do this, there's a chance my wish will be granted, and I think it's a better chance than if I, lived my life with it. You can make an argument if that's healthy or not, if that's a good system or not, that's fine. But her response of, you're evil and I have to fix this. No, you're just mad because he didn't give you what you want and he called you out on your fucking hypocrisy and bullshit. He becomes a piece of shit later. I will not defend that. You're a piece of shit now. I think it is ugly to look at. I don't think the songs are good. Oh god, the climax. It's so bad. The villain wins. Straight up, dead ass. And then they sing. And it fixes everything. And I said this after the movie. I know I've said this several times. I think I said it in our video. That happens a lot in Symphogear. People will fucking sing and then kick ass. Remember the fucking climax of Symphogear G? Where they're tuning themselves with like the souls and the songs of the entire human race? They are literally singing to beat the final boss. And in Symphogear it works. And it's awesome. And it's hype. Here it's just, hey, you've beaten us, but we can sing, motherfucker. Oh no! And then he gets trapped and reversed and what? It's so bad. This is how you want to represent 100 years of Disney? Thank God we have Once Upon a Studio. That is how you represent 100 years of Disney. Thank God! Steamboat Willie is now public domain, and you can just look at the simple roots of Walt Disney's work and Mickey Mouse. This is awful! Wow. Wow, that was all real. Like, I was not doing a bit. That was a lot. That was a lot of passion. I'd say I passionately hate this more than I hate this. Huh. I think I have to do that. Home! You're off the hook! I mean, not completely. You're still F tier. You're still dog shit. I hate you. I hate it so much. But this is art. This is just annoying. But this is something special. This is something to be studied. This one's okay. This one's okay. I like it. I think it's really pretty. I like rom-coms. I liked watching this relate. It's like, how many straight up rom-coms has Pixar done? I don't think WALL-E quite counts, but WALL-E and Eve are about as close as I can think of. Toy Story 4 is not a rom-com, but it's, I mean, that's a strong relationship. I feel like this is their first real rom-com, and I liked it. I thought Element City was pretty cool. I don't like it as much as Zootopia. Like, this movie feels like Pixar's Zootopia. And it ain't Zootopia. Let me just say that real quick. But I liked it. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I feel like I respect it more than I like it. But I did really enjoy it. I don't even, like, really enjoyed it. Then it would be up here. I feel like I can put it in B. Maybe on a good day, not to say I've had a bad day, but like on a good day, it could maybe go up here. Like, it's not Trolls tier, so it ain't going up here. And I feel like maybe, as much as I do like some of these movies, some of them might end up going down to A as this part fills up. And like, yeah, I don't think I can put it up there. I can put it up there. This I can put up here. I'm being unironic. I'm being genuine. I liked the FNAF movie. I liked it a lot. I had a great time with it. I feel like the FNAF movie does a very good job of representing what Five Nights at Freddy's is. It is something with way too much lore and is just kind of insane, crazy bullshit. It is something that is a horror property. And so you get some fun deaths. You get some pretty violent deaths. Now, they're not like super gory, but they're fun. They're creative. You get that. But you also get scenes of the animatronics just playing with kids because this is something that appeals to kids. I feel like horror fans are going to get the parts that they want. I think lore fans are going to get like the weird, crazy lore and some, whatever new shit and spins they put on it. And I think kids are going to get what they want as well. And as someone who just wanted to see Matthew Lillard as William Afton, I didn't get as much Matthew Lillard as William Afton as I wanted, but I did get some. And I've seen the memes. There's this one stupid video that I've seen so many times because I love it. It's like, it's perfect. First I riz your brother, then I riz you. Skibbity, my friend. Like, I've seen it so many times. It's so dumb. I can't get enough of it. It's beautiful. I had a really good time with this movie. Kung Fu Panda 2, to me, is also an A-tier movie. There's an argument to put it up here. I could maybe do that. I feel like... So I remember watching Kung Fu Panda 1, and the vibe I have from it is like, this is a Kung Fu movie. And I mean that as like, yes, there's a lot of action, but I feel like there is genuinely a lot of philosophy in here too. And the philosophy feels just as important, if not more so, than the action. Kung Fu Panda 2 to me feels more like an action movie. There is still philosophy, talking about inner peace and Shen and Po's final conversation. It is in there, and I think it's very good. But I do feel like there's maybe a bit more focus on the action. The action is still great. It kicks ass. I like this movie a lot. It wouldn't be an A-tier movie and possibly an S-tier movie if I didn't. It just doesn't hit me as hard as the first movie does. I see it. This goes up here. It's arguably up here. I love this movie. And the first time I saw it, I didn't. I think even the second time I saw it, it was maybe liking it a bit more. I like it more every time I see it. Po's story of someone who's overweight, doesn't see anything in himself, but wants to make something of himself, reminds me a lot of me. And when I rewatched this movie, I was in a much better place mentally. And I could really see myself in Po. And it makes me wonder if I've always seen myself in Po, and that's why I didn't like the movie. Because I didn't like the person that I was. I didn't like seeing someone just getting bullied and made fun of and failing because I've been there. I don't know. But it felt so cathartic, magical, important, watching it this most recent time, which is like, I don't know, the 5th, 6th time I've seen it. I would say it's better. I like it more than all of those other movies, man. I feel like of every... And I've said this before. I kind of regret not also giving this a double S tier in the DreamWorks video. Because while there's another movie that I think might be a little bit better in terms of its story and its cast, no other DreamWorks movie hits me the way that Kung Fu Panda does. While we're at it, 3, to me, 3 is also like around here. I don't think I could put it quite up here with some of these. I mean, to be fair, I mean, do I really think Boss Baby 2 was better than Kung Fu Panda 2? Like, I don't think so. To me, Kung Fu Panda 3 feels like 1, and that it feels like this, like, let me get some water real quick, and hopefully that will unscramble my brain and my tongue. Kung Fu Panda 3 to me feels like a kind of mix between 1 and 2. It feels like Kung Fu Panda Light. It's still good. I still enjoy it. I feel like it reminds me more of 1 than 2 does, and I like that a lot, but I don't know if, I definitely don't like it as much as 1. I don't know if I quite like it as much as 2. I don't remember what I said right after watching it, but I feel like it's good. I do like it. I put The Boy and the Heron about here. Yeah, I didn't. There's a Miyazaki movie that I didn't enjoy as much as Captain Underpants or the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. What the fuck am I coming to? This is a movie where I absolutely love the first third, and then the rest of the movie happens. And I don't hate the rest of the movie by any means. There's a lot of bits in there that I like, but I don't love it. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, where is this going? Thematically speaking, I think it's great. I feel like it is an incredibly personal film to Hayao Miyazaki. And there's these moments where I feel like, sounds probably weird to say, but it's like, I feel like I am connecting with the filmmaker on a personal level throughout a lot of this movie. And that's why I love it. There's also a lot of this movie where I'm just kind of sitting there thinking, what the fuck is happening or going on? Also, I know I've described it like this before, but I can't help it. Why does the Heron look like Grumblemon from Digimon Frontier wearing a fucking hoodie of a bird? I don't like it. The regular Heron design, I think, looks great. The other design is just nasty. And it's not like a fun nasty to me, like the Witch of the Waste after like she gets cursed. It's just unappealing to look at. And a lot of this movie is just covered in bird shit, and I don't know why. I don't find that funny. Maybe it's supposed to be thematic. I don't know. Maybe they researched birds and were like, yeah, birds would definitely just shit everywhere. Like, I don't know. I definitely respect it more than I like it. And that's not even really a question to me. Flushed Away is not good. Flushed Away to me is like, this is an Aardman movie, but not in Aardman's... It is the Aardman visuals, but it's still a CG movie rather than stop motion. My understanding is that their studio burned down, unfortunately, so they weren't able to make it the way they wanted to. And that's a fucking shame, because I feel like all of the charm of an Aardman movie is just not here. I don't find it funny. I don't get invested in the story. It's not bad enough to be an F tier, and I think a lot of that is Sir Ian McKellen going, huzzah! A man of quality! And then you've got Le Frog and all that shit, and there's enough here that's entertaining enough to keep it from being absolute dog shit, but it's not good. It's not even close to good. You want to talk about good. You want to talk about good. Wait, no, that's in the wrong spot. These fucking movies, man. I love the John Wick movies. This is like the easiest shit. The first movie to me is an S tier movie. I think it is great. I think John is such an empathetic character. If someone did shit to my cat, yeah, I'd want to kill him too. I would, I don't know what exactly I would do, but if I had the skills and the resources that John Wick did, I would do what he did if someone hurt Bahamut. I think that's fair to say. I do not have those skills. I do not have those resources, but no, I get it, John. I get it. John Wick 2, for me, it's not that I'm like, oh, I don't empathize with John in this one, but it's like, I feel like some of that just raw emotion is a bit lacking in 2, because 2 is more story and lore driven. But I think it's great. I think it kicks ass. Like, the fucking scene in the bathtub, I think, looks fantastic. I'm trying to remember what the fights are in this movie. Oh, yeah, the whole fucking fight in the catacombs is great. I remember some of the fights. Okay, so I was kind of getting my movies mixed up. Because I know how much I love 2. I'm like, what is the crazy shit in 2 that I love? Oh, it's John fighting all the assassins. Him fighting Cassian and then them ending up in the Continental and they have to stop, I think is awesome. Them walking down the street and like fucking shooting each other with silenced pistols. John killing all those different assassins, like the sumo wrestler dude or the woman with the violin is awesome. He does kill a motherfucker with a pencil in this movie. The whole montage of John getting his shit together with, like, the sommelier and whatnot. It's so good. I feel like I love John Wick 2 about as much as John Wick 1, but for different reasons. 3 is easily my least favorite, but it's an A-tier movie. I just don't like it quite as much. I feel like there are some really good fights. I mean, it's not like Bobon is a phenomenal fight. I'm just really fucking happy Bobon is here. Like, the knife store, I think, is a really good fight. I just don't get into it as much. Like, some of, like, the plot and the lore and at the end of the movie, I'm like, John Wick should have fucking died there. I get it. He's badass. I get it. He has, like, a reinforced vest. Bro just fell, like, 5 stories and landed on solid metal. I'm sorry. He should be dead. This is kind of dumb. It's not as good. And they fucking brought it home with 4. 4 is phenomenal. 4 is a damn near 3-hour movie, and I could have seen another hour. The climax is damn near a third of the total runtime. And I think it's great. It's so long. It's so exhausting. You really feel like John Wick. But you kind of do. It's like, well, you feel his exhaustion and his desperation to get up those stairs. And then when he falls down, he has to pick himself up and keep climbing. You're like, I'm so sorry, John, but I'm with you, man. So good. The whole, like, top-down segment as he's, like, shooting fire at people is really fucking cool. The fight against Peter in the fucking fight like in the dance club, and this, like, fat dude is super athletic is awesome. The whole, like, poker scene is great. All the shit in Osaka is phenomenal. I feel like, and I mean this with no disrespect to the other 3 movies, but I feel like there's so many set pieces in John Wick 4 that would be the best part of any other John Wick movie. And the whole movie is like that. This is the double S of John Wick movies. It might be my double S of live action movies. This is bad. Oh boy, I hated Lightyear, man. You know, I talk about Toy Story whenever I discuss bottom of the fucking barrel and how there is no bottom of the fucking barrel Toy Story movies, because this doesn't count. It's not a Toy Story movie. It doesn't have toy in the title, doesn't have story in the title, there's no Woody, there's no Potato Head, there's no Slinky, there's no Bo Peep, it's not even Buzz Lightyear. I don't know who this asshole is, but he's not Buzz Lightyear. This isn't Emperor Zurg. Oh, God. Oh, God. The reason he's called Zurg is because we can't say, we say Berserk. Oh, it's so dumb. And the characters are so aggressively nothing. I will be honest. I feel like if this was its own original IP, it would probably be here. Maybe I would put it down here. But because this is supposed to be something I know, this is the movie that Andy watched that made him want to get a Buzz Lightyear action figure. No, he's not, because I've seen that movie. It's called Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. I've seen that show. It's called Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. I don't think a kid would watch this shit and go, dude, I need a Buzz Lightyear action figure. You watch Buzz Lightyear at Star Command, you want a Buzz Lightyear action figure. This movie is boring. It is aggressively boring. This is the worst Pixar movie to me, and that includes The Good Dinosaur. I despise The Good Dinosaur. I loathe The Good Dinosaur. But this is just... This movie to me is like a black hole. It just felt like there was no joy anywhere in this movie. Like, the project just sucked it all out of the script, of the actors, of the animators. Like, I don't think it looks good. It just kind of looks dull. And because it looks dull, it looks ugly. We're in a space movie. We're in a Buzz Lightyear movie. Give me some fucking color. Give me some fun aliens, man. Give me something. It gave me nothing. And I don't know how long it is. It felt long. It felt like it was a couple hours. And I don't even think it was. But it was that bad. This is so annoying. Like, this is worse than them. I feel like I do have to put it down here. It's worse than they are, but... Man, just fuck. Alright. If I'm right... I think I have the order right, where this is Ghost Protocol, which is 4, Rogue Nation, which is 5, they're all Mission Impossible, Fallout, which is 6, and Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is 7. I kind of fucking loved all 4 of these. I've seen Mission Impossible 1 before. I did not rewatch it. I've seen 3 before. I did not rewatch it. I don't think I've ever seen 2. I did not care to watch it. The Burj Khalifa scene is fucking amazing. I think the underwater sequence is in this movie as well. It might be in this one. The final, like, the climax in the car garage is really fucking cool. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what happens in Rogue Nation. I can't remember the stunts. I know there was good shit. Is this the one that starts with him jumping onto the plane? That might be Fallout, but this one might be the plane. I think it also ends with the cool shit of, like, getting the guy trapped in the box. I really liked that. Oh, I think this is the one where, like, where they're in the airport. No, wait. That was Dead Reckoning. That was Dead Reckoning. Fuck. I'm sorry, I'm just getting these all mixed up. Because 6 was Henry Cavill, who, like, is reloading his arms like he's Yang from Ruby. It has them, like, skydiving, and then Henry Cavill gets struck by lightning. It has the helicopter sequence, which is fucking awesome. This is the train. I love the train. I remember saying it after I saw the movie. I love animation. Y'all know I love animation. There's a reason there's more animated films up here than live action. There are things you can only do in animation you can't do in live action, but I think the opposite is also true. There are some things where, like, you see it animated, it's a really fucking cool set piece, and I love it. But then when you do it in live action, you're like, there were people actually in that train as it was falling apart, actually trying to escape it and not die. I know that was real and that was not CG, and I know they're gonna be okay, but I am holding my breath. It is in my throat, and my heart is also in my throat, cause what the fuck? This is why I go to the movies, man. These movies are great. This one is really long, though. I could not tell you the plot of almost any of these movies except this one, because I just remember, oh yeah, the guy from this one wants revenge and Henry Cavill does some shit. This one was about, like, a MacGuffin for a key and some shit and blah 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 and whatever. This is the one where they go to the Kremlin and they do some shit and it's pretty cool. And I had something else to say about it and now I don't even remember what it was. It's kind of hard to say. Like, I feel like these are all A-tier movies because I had a really good time with them, but the fact that I genuinely could not tell you a lot about the plot of the movie or about the characters, and, like, I know Ethan Hunt is in the movies, but and like Luther and like Benji, but can I really tell you much about them or about the antagonists that they're fighting? Not really, and that's not like a spoiler thing. It's just dude, I don't fucking know. I don't remember. I know I saw it. I know I had a good time. To me, these are the definition of a popcorn movie. I think I will leave all 4 of them at A. But maybe I could put that one in the double S of Mission Impossibles because of how much I love that Burj Khalifa stunt. It's phenomenal. But there's some really good stunts in the other movies too. This is an S tier movie. I loved My Dinner with Andre. I still quote this movie. I mean, when did we watch it? I think we watched it in January or February. So it's been almost a year. The part that I quote is Wallace Shawn, as played, of course, by Wallace Shawn, talking about how satisfying and euphoric it is to cross something off a list. I think he says, like, there's no greater feeling than crossing something off your list. I'm like, you, my brother, preach, shout it from the hilltops. Someone who understands me. Oh, it's great, and it's wonderful. Listening to Andre talk and, like, his life and his stories, it's so interesting. And not just in the sense of, like, oh, yeah, this is some really interesting shit that he's talking about, because that's true. But there's moments where I'm just thinking, I am so in tune with this guy and what he's talking about, just the creative process and following your dreams and just, like, the vibes of life and all of that. And there's other times where I'm like, this dude is insane. What is he talking about? And there's times where Wally is talking and he's like, talking about fortune cookies. He's like, dude, I don't believe in that kind of shit. I don't believe in fortune or, like, true serendipity. Like, yeah, like, I had a fortune cookie once that was talking about how I was going to go on a trip. And yeah, I was planning on going on a trip. I don't think there's any greater meaning in that. I don't think it was blessing me. The cookie couldn't have known that. And, like, that line is really funny. But I'm like, there's times I'm like, I think he's a little too cynical. But then there's also times where I'm like, I really agree with this dude. He knows what's up. I know I don't remember. I think it was in the Ghibli video. I was talking about Only Yesterday. And how it's a movie I didn't enjoy. But I feel like if I rewatched it, and later in life, and maybe like a good 10 years or so, I might have a different appreciation and view on the movie, and hopefully I'd enjoy it a lot more. I feel like My Dinner with Andre is similar. Not in a sense where I think I would enjoy it more, because I already clearly fucking loved it. But I think I might have different views on, like, so maybe I'm a lot more of a Wallace at that point in my life. Maybe I'm a lot more of an Andre. Maybe I am still 50-50. But there's some things that Andre said where before I was like, I think you're a little nutty. Or I'm like, no, he's right. Maybe it's the same thing with Wall. I don't know. But I did enjoy that. And that kind of I don't know-ish about it. Like, I kind of fuck with that. I'm kidding. This movie was great. I was actually trying to put it... I was trying to put it here. Could I put it up? I don't think I could put it in S. I don't think I could quite put it in S. It has an S tier soundtrack. Any movie that has a montage of the Ninja Turtles kicking ass and interrogating bad guys to Blackstreet's No Diggity is a great time. Any movie that will start playing What's Up by Four Non-Blondes just to transfer into the fucking He-Man version for a car chase is a great time. I am almost convincing myself to put it into S tier for those soundtrack choices alone. But I don't think it's quite an S tier movie overall. I don't think I can, like, did I enjoy it as much as I enjoyed something like My Dinner with Andre? I mean, maybe for different reasons, but, like, I don't think so. But I really liked it. Yeah, looking at it, I think I am going to move some of these DreamWorks movies down. But we're going to do it later. But I had such a good fucking time with Mutant Mayhem, man. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I think you'll have a good time. I think it is such a fucking blast. if this does become a full thing, like they do make a new Ninja Turtle show based on this version, I might have to fucking watch it because it was great. I talked about this one recently. I think it's also kind of a B tier movie. I very much like. It's very pretty. It's a Ghibli movie that's not earwig. Of course, it's pretty. The idea of telling this story, there's no dialogue. Oh, okay, there's dialogue, but it's, I don't know, maybe 10 total lines. Like, it has about as much dialogue. It has less dialogue than Angel's Egg does. To put it in perspective, if you know what Angel's Egg is, and if you don't, go watch it. It's, I love Angel's Egg so much. I know I said recently, I don't remember what we were talking about, where I'm like, you know, sometimes when something is very vague in its story, or its story is more symbolic and whatnot, I don't really get into it as much. Like, I can appreciate the artistry, but if I'm not super into the story or the characters, I'm not going to care as much. Like, if you want me to really analyze your work and think about it, give me a great story, give me a great characters, and I will do that willingly. Then there's Angel's Egg, where I'm like, dude, I'm just going to, like, analyze and think about everything. I'm going to think about all the different meanings. I'm going to think about all the different symbols. I just love it, man. I think Red Turtle is okay. It is the kind of movie, to me, that feels like it is more about the art than the plot. It is more about the themes and the vibes and the plot, and I think that's fine. It doesn't resonate with me as much as this sorry, I was having issues with the mouse. It doesn't resonate with me as much as Mutant Mayhem does. I'll be honest. But I liked it. I respect it more than I like it, but I do like it. Puss in Boots 1, it's fine. There's that one great scene of Humpty Dumpty being everywhere, I think is really funny. I think it's okay. I don't particularly, like, the part where the Puss and Kitty dancing and shit, I think is really cool. It has a fun, like, callback and comeback here or whatever, but it's fine. It's okay. Fuck, this movie's good. This movie's really good. I saw it in theaters twice. I don't do that very often, but I did it. Oh, I love how this movie looks. I love the story. Like, I mean, the story's just fucking Wacko's Wish. There's a wishing star. We all gotta go to the wishing star and get what we want, and I love Wacko's Wish. It's Animaniacs, the movie. It's great. Well, like, in terms of that plot, it's nothing brand new, but I love that kind of shit, so I'm all in. The moment I knew, because we were on Wikipedia, because I kept hearing how good the movie is, I was like, I want to look up just, like, a little bit about it. Goldilocks and the Three Bears Crime Syndicate. I'm gonna go see this movie. If not today, I'm gonna go see it tomorrow. What the fuck did I just read? I need to know everything about that. I think Goldilocks is great. I think the bears are great. Little Jack Horner or Big Jack Horner, I don't care. Horner is so funny. He's so unabashedly awful. And every time he's on screen, it is amazing. I think Perrito is adorable. And he's like, I know I said this in a Ruby video. I think I was talking about Ruby Season 1 and talking about Nora. Nora in Season 1 is so annoying, and I love it. It's the kind of annoying where it works and somehow makes the character more endearing. It's kind of like Pinkie Pie in Friendship is Magic, although there's times where Pinkie Pie can definitely be a little too annoying. But I feel like it's that kind of fun annoying. And Perrito is very much like that for me. And then there's those moments like where Puss is having his panic attack, and Perrito is just there for him, and it's just quiet, and I'm like, this is great, this is lovely. Or him talking about his backstory, and it's the saddest fucking thing, and he's laughing his way through it because he just doesn't understand. It's amazing. I think Kitty is great. I think she's super cool. I think she's funny. I think she's likable. I love Puss's story of him, like, realizing the value of his life and not wanting to throw his life away, and all these cool action scenes he gets involved in. And I haven't even brought up the wolf. The wolf is the best thing in the movie. Fuck, I don't even think I was doing it right. Oh, I just get chills. I watching it was great. Hearing people talk about the movie is great. I think it's DreamWorks' best movie. I refuse to move Kung Fu Panda down, though. Because Kung Fu Panda personally hits me harder than Last Wish does. But Last Wish to me is so good and so perfect. And to me, like, this movie does everything right. And then there's those little details. Like when Puss is fighting the giant and there's the whole crowd. The wolf is in the crowd. When Puss is in the bar and he's drinking, he has 8 cups in front of him, referencing the 8 lives that he spent and wasted. There's, when Goldilocks is reading her book when she's in the cabin, and apparently the first line of every, the first letter of every line spells out, "You already have it." Just, there's so many little touches. It's like I talk about sometimes where a movie or a show or whatever, it's like there's not a lot wrong with it, but like there's these little things, but the little things add up. The little things add up with this movie and take a movie that I think is fantastic and just make it better. It's like I said with Wish, how Wish is a movie that does everything wrong. This is a movie that does everything right. Where do I put a movie like Poultrygeist? Night of the Chicken Dead. It was, like, I could barely watch it. It was making me sick. It didn't help that I was eating or had just eaten. Oh, I'm just, like, thinking of the chicken with all like, it's funny. It's horribly, horribly offensive. But it's, like, so... It's like being mad at South Park for being offensive. I mean, I feel like this... I mean, South Park at least is commentary. This doesn't. I mean, okay. Did I have a good time watching it? Kind of, because I was watching it with a group of friends. Like, it was during Friendsgiving. Like, there's like 10 people watching this insane, fucked up movie. Of course I'm having a good time, but I'm also like, I kinda don't want to be watching this anymore. I think it is my first trauma film. Aside from maybe watching The Toxic Avenger, because I've never seen it, and I'm kind of interested in it. I don't think I really want to watch a trauma film after watching this. I think based on my personal enjoyment, I'd probably put it down here. It does everything it sets out to do, but just... Oh, man. Ugh. Glass Onion. I had so much fun watching Glass Onion. I love me a good mystery, so I had a good time with this. I love how it's a mystery, and if you're a keen-eyed viewer, which unfortunately I wasn't, you can see the murder happen. You can see and tell exactly when the murder happens. But even without it, I could figure out where it was going. I did not see the second half twist coming. And I was like, oh, that's really good. That's really clever. That's really creative. I like what we're doing with this. But I still saw the end result coming. I had a good time. I had a really, really good time. I don't think I would quite put it in S, but to me, it's a very strong A. Ruby Gillman. Teenage Kraken. DreamWorks' The Little Mermaid, complete with, like, a parody character of Ariel. I was so excited for this movie. I thought it was going to be fucking hilarious. And that I was going to have a blast, because I love The Little Mermaid. And so having a Little Mermaid-themed story while also poking fun at the Disney version, like classic DreamWorks, like, oh, this is going to be great. It's fine. It's fine. I like it enough. I honestly think it's probably a C-tier movie, if I'm being honest overall. But all the fucking tropes and cliches about high school and teen movies, I enjoy those. They're not great, but I just enjoy those. You know what? I'm gonna put it in B because I just loved watching the Gillman family move. The fucking Octodad shit about how they don't have spines. I think that's even a line. She's like, Mom, I have to pretend that I have a spine. I laughed really hard at that. I did think the Ariel character was really funny. It's not great. I don't know if I could even say it's good, but I liked it. I'd be lying if I said otherwise. I can't talk about this without also talking about this. I mean, it's Barbenheimer. Let's go. Come on, Bobby. Let's go party. Ooh, ooh, yeah. Come on, Barbie. Let's go party. Let me just put them together. Barbie is a really interesting movie to me. It's a movie where I love the idea of, like, okay, a Barbie is going to cross over and become Pinocchio. She's going to become a real boy. She's going to become a real person and learn what life is like in the real world and not the idealistic fantasy. This is what it is like to be a woman in modern day America, which is something I have no experience with or no knowledge of. I think the visuals are great. I think a lot of the ideas are really interesting. I think the movie is really fucking funny. My biggest issue is, I remember talking about this with my friends after. It's the kind of movie that I watch and I think to myself, I agree with what you're saying, but I also don't like being preached at. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I get the theme. I agree with the theme. It's maybe, at least for me, a little too in my face about it. But that does not mean I did not have a good time with it. Because I really did. And I think my favorite joke in the movie is Ken, all of them. Okay, I mean, full stop there, that just Ken is the best joke in the movie. But that Ken's favorite song is Push by Matchbox 20. Because on the most surface level viewing, you can listen to the song and be like, oh, it's about how I want to push you around. Well, I will. Well, I will. This is about an abusive relationship. So, of course, Ken, now that he's more macho and is all about the patriarchy, loves a song about wanting to push somebody, pushing a woman around. If you actually listen to the song Push, if you know the song Push, the song is about an abusive relationship, but it's about an emotionally abusive relationship, and it's about a woman abusing a man and taking advantage of him and wanting to push him around. And with the way Barbie Land is presented in this earlier parts of the movie, with how the Kens are just jokes and eye candy for the Barbies, a song about a man being emotionally pushed around and devalued by a woman makes a lot of sense to be something Ken really relates to and empathizes with. And I love that. I'm like, depending on how you, like, how well you know the song, this is either like a low-hanging fruit kind of joke or a really, really clever joke. I think a lot of the ideas in this movie are really clever. I think a lot of the jokes are really clever. I think for me, it's maybe a little too preachy at times, but I had a blast. I had so much fucking fun with this movie. I have to put it in S tier. And then there's Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is a movie that I feel like I liked it enough when I was watching it. And now that I've had time, like lots of time to sit on it and think about it, I appreciate it more. I think it's an incredibly well-made film. I saw it in IMAX. It's gorgeous. The Trinity test in IMAX is phenomenal. It's why I wanted to watch it like that, and it was worth every cent for that alone. Just the scene right after. or it's not right after, excuse me, but it's like after the bomb is used, and Oppenheimer has to give a speech to everyone that worked on the Manhattan Project. And is giving the speech, but like, yo, we won! We did it! Yeah! Fuck them and everything. And his heart isn't in it. And, like, he's having these visions of what the bomb can do and what the bomb did. It's such an impactful scene. Like, as much as I love the Trinity test, and that is my favorite scene in the movie, this is a scene that gives it a run for its money. I think his life is super interesting. I think he's played incredibly well. I think this is a fantastic movie. It's not my favorite Nolan movie. The Dark Knight exists. The Dark Knight's one of my favorite movies of all time. I also haven't seen The Prestige in a long time, but I remember it being a phenomenal. And I have a friend who's a huge cinephile. And I was talking to him the other day. Like, we were talking about Ghibli movies. He's actually who I ended up watching The Red Turtle with. Excuse me. And he was telling me, he's like, no, The Prestige is my favorite movie. I was like, all right. Why? Like, I think the movie's great from what I remember, but, like, I'm curious why. And he's like, this. He was going off, and I loved it, man. I love shit like that. So, I do think this movie's really good. I can't put it away from Barbie. It's just right to put them together. It's like, this really was a fantastic movie. Shark Tale. I mean, let's be honest. Shark Tale is, like, here. Because it's not funny. It's not pretty. Oh shit, it's almost 8 o'clock. Oh fuck, I've been here a while. I don't like looking at this movie. I don't like listening to this movie. I think it's just awful and horrible. But I kind of think it's that way on purpose. And that maybe, just maybe, this movie is actually a commentary about culture and how people want to be famous without actually putting in the work for it. And how a lot of people are just kind of assholes. Or like, I want to be good. Like, I want to be famous. I want to be rich. Why? Because I should be. Because I deserve it. And they don't deserve it. But sometimes those people get famous anyways. It's a movie where if you have the right mindset, it's really interesting and really clever, but still not funny. And that's why I can't put it in B tier. I can see something. I can see... Sorry, I just heard Jose. I'm like, I can see something in it. I think he's on the phone and just here we go. Really? I'm like, yes, Jose. Really? I can see something. I see something there that wasn't there before. I don't like it, but I almost respect it. If it was funnier, it would easily be in B, maybe higher, but it's just not. What? Oh, that's RRR! I was like, I have no idea what the fuck that is. It's an S tier movie. Dude, I loved this. I had so much fucking fun watching RRR. The songs, the dances, the plot, the characters, the whole fucking bridge scene. Oh, it's so good. There's so much energy to this movie. There's so much life to this movie. This is a long-ass fucking movie, dude. And I did not care. I did not give a shit. Give me more. Give me more. I loved it. DreamWorks is Lilo and Stitch. To me, this is another one of those, like, this is an S-tier DreamWorks movie. Maybe I'll end up putting it a little lower. We will see. This movie, to me, really does feel like Lilo and Stitch. You have a young child. I mean, Hiccup's a lot older than Lilo. I think Lilo's like 7, maybe even a little younger. Hiccup's 13 or so, but a young kid living with a single parent, although in Lilo's case, it's her older sister being her single parent. The two of them don't really understand each other. They love each other, but they can't understand each other. Then a supernatural entity, either a dragon or an alien, comes into the kid's life. The kid ends up having a strong connection to the supernatural creature, which is helping them open up a bit more, kind of become a healthier person. Another supernatural entity, either the other aliens or the alpha dragon, tries taking that thing away from them. Shit happens, you get a climax, everyone ends up together in the end, everything's Gucci, and they have a much better relationship with their single parent, and the supernatural creature now lives with them. Also, it has the same writers and directors as Lilo and Stitch. It's not just, hey, this is kind of similar. It's like, no, I feel like they took their idea and then just did it again. I don't think they did it quite as well, but that's not anything against How to Train Your Dragon. That's just because I am a huge stan of Lilo and Stitch. I guess we might as well talk about the sequels. I don't like How to Train Your Dragon 2. I don't even remember why. I just remember watching it the second time and going like, wait, I thought this movie was good. It's not. Like, this, I don't think this climax really works. I think a lot of it was Hiccup's mom. And, like, I don't sympathize with her here. Okay, like, to a degree. Like, I have now seen that dragons are not just monsters that kill or that maim. I cannot stand idly by as my people slaughter them. Okay, I get that. I like that. So what did you do? So now I essentially run a sanctuary for dragons where they are okay, and there's people that harm dragons. There's people that hunt dragons, and I want to stop them. Okay, that's cool. So to do that, I left my home, I left my husband, I left my literal baby boy, and I did all of this. I'm sorry, what? You completely left your family? Wait a second. You left your husband, who hates dragons, because you want to save dragons. Yeah. You know that's gonna make him hate dragons more because he thinks you got killed by them, right? Yeah. Which is gonna make him a lot more violent and a lot more of a Why did you think this was a good idea? Now, if I remember correctly, she did get, like, captured by a dragon, but also she becomes, like, the dragon, like, a tamer of 1,000 dragons, or, you know, like, not 1,000, but, like, of a fuck ton of dragons. You mean you couldn't just ride back and talk to your husband and tell him some shit? Like, what the fuck? This makes no sense, and the fact that I feel like you could have gone back at any time, and you chose not to. You willingly abandoned your family. That's fucking awful. What's wrong with you? Like, I did not sympathize with her. I was very clearly supposed to, and I didn't. I didn't find the villain that cool or that interesting. He was just a dude going, and fucking banging his chest like he's Donkey Kong. And I'm like, this is, why? Why are we doing this? This is dumb. This is dumb. Oh, wait, he has an alpha dragon? How? His whole thing is like, you can intimidate. It's like, you can make any creature obey you if it's scared of you. So when he's pulling his DK shit on smaller dragons, I can buy it. You're meaning to tell me he intimidated an alpha dragon? This is dumb. I feel like he would do that, and then the dragon would sneeze on him, and he'd be fucking dead. This is not a good movie. This one's worse. I hated this movie. I was so excited to watch How to Train Your Dragon 3. To finally see it. The end of the trilogy. The one where Toothless gets a girlfriend and blah, blah, blah. And it's dog shit. It is not funny when it's trying to be, because it is more of a drama, and that's fine. I did not remember the humor actually being funny. I feel Toothless became a Toothless character. Like, the whole scene of him trying to court the Light Fury, I'm like, I get it. Toothless is kind of goofy, and he's adorable, and he's fun. This feels kind of insulting. He's not this dumb. He's not this klutzy, man. The villain, it felt like they were trying to make him, you know, he's very intelligent. He's very calculating. He's like nothing you've ever faced before. I'm like, this dude, I'm just not feeling it. I don't feel like he's actually that threatening. Hiccup is terrified of him. He's like, guys, he was in my house. He was in my house. He managed to get in there and bypass our defenses. Hiccup, your plan was for him to get in your house because you set an ambush for him. You are literally saying, guys, he fell for my trap. I'm scared. Now, he got out of the trap. Like, sure. But you can't say, I'm so scared because this dude was in my house. when you opened the fucking door for him and rolled out the red carpet. What? This makes no sense. Hiccup's whole thing is like, guys, he's gonna come after us. We need to leave and go somewhere else. So what you're saying is the defensible position that we know incredibly well and can fortify, we need to leave it so we can go find a random place that hopefully maybe we'll find, and we won't have enough time to fortify, and we won't know the land, so any advantage we have is rendered moot. You're a fucking moron, and you're supposed to be the smart one. There's also the theme of the movie, which is about letting your dragon go and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I don't know, did you watch this movie? Where the whole fucking theme of it was coming together and being stronger together? Did you watch this movie, which also isn't very good, but is about how we're stronger together? What is this shit? Like, if it wasn't for the themes, I think it'd be here. I think it'd be, maybe it would be here. Because it's not good. But the themes of the movie are so insulting to me as someone who loves this movie and doesn't like this one, but it can kind of tolerate it. This is bad. This is annoying. This is a work of art in how terrible it is. This is a black hole of creativity and joy. This is an insult. This one's really good. I don't think I would quite put Asteroid City in S, but I think I just like Wes Anderson movies of the few I've seen. I love its style. I love its vibes. I think it can be really funny. I think it can be really heartwarming. The little bit of screen time Jeff Goldblum has is fucking hilarious. I think everyone kills it. I don't know if I would quite put it in... You know what? I feel like I enjoyed it about as much as I enjoyed Barbie and Oppie. I'll put it in S. I don't give a fuck. This is my list. There we go. That's good. This I can't put in S, but I had so much fucking fun watching Cocaine Bear. Bear loves cocaine. I saw a movie about a bear getting high off cocaine and mauling people. I kind of wish I got a bit more of the bear doing that. And here's the thing. I actually liked the humans in this movie. So it's not like I wanted to see a lot of these people die, but I also wanted to see the bear do crazy bear shit. And I got a decent amount of it. I had a good time. I genuinely had a good time. Guardians 3. It's up here. Fuck it. I'll just put it in here for now. We'll see when I go over these again. I really liked it. I loved Rocket's backstory. It's like, I know exactly where this is going, and I'm still getting super sad anyways. Fuck. I love the High Evolutionary. He's a piece of shit. Fuck this dude. Absolute trash. But I loved it. I love just how angry this dude is. I love how over the top he was. It made his comeuppance so much more satisfying, and I loved how pathetic it made him seem. Because he is pathetic. He is not a high evolutionary. He's someone playing God. But he doesn't measure up. And I think that's awesome. The Beastie Boy, the No Sleep Till Brooklyn. I loved it. The Dog Days Are Over scene. I don't know if I cried when I saw it in theaters. I think I did, or I got close. I've seen the scene since, and I cried. That cover of Creep is really good. What's the Adam Warlock song like? Crazy on You. Oh, that's so cool. That's such a good intro. Star-Lord and Gamora. I get what they were doing there. I think that plotline for me kind of wore out its welcome really quickly. And I just thought Star-Lord was being really annoying. But I love what they did with Nebs, with Drax, with Manda, pretty much everyone else. And even then, I didn't completely hate what they did with Star-Lord, because they did other really good shit with him, especially his ending. The Star-Lord Gamora thing, I don't think brings it quite here. I think I would leave it up here. I mean, I guess it's the best Marvel movie I saw this year by default. Yeah, because I don't think I saw any of the... I didn't watch Ant-Man. I didn't give a shit. And I think there was another... Oh, yeah, The Marvels. I didn't watch that either. Oh, the Croods. So Croods and Croods 2. That sounds about right. I remember watching Croods and thinking, like, this is better than I thought it was going to be. I do like just that whole section of Grug, as played by Nicolas Cage, going like, hey, sunglasses. It rhymes with Grug. And it's so dumb, but it made me laugh every time. I like how Unga Bunga Grug and his daughter are. I can't remember her name. But Emma Stone. There were just bits of the movie. I liked the monster designs a lot. But I remember getting to the end of the movie, that scene where Grug stays behind and thinking, if they stick with this movie is going up here. That is such a ballsy ending, and I think it's such a good ending and a thematic ending. This is a movie about cavemen. This is a movie about evolution and survival of the fittest, and how this is a family that survived for so long because of Grug. But now they're starting to get, I mean, not modern, they're cavemen. But we're starting to evolve out of the caveman era. And if you can't move forward into the future, you're gonna die in the past. And they were so close to pulling that off, and I think it would have been fantastic. But they just didn't stick with it. And I was left disappointed. I don't think disappointed enough to put it down here, certainly not here, but I think here is fine. This movie is just really funny. All the like banana shit, the Thunder Sisters, like I had a good time. Is it like the thematically the most interesting movie or plot-wise the most interesting movie? No. But I was entertained. I thought it was fucking funny. The D&D movie, kind of the same thing. I don't think I would quite put it in S, but I had a great time watching it. Just the way they escaped from the prison, and it's like, we would have granted your parole anyway. Like, that's so fucking funny. The scene where, I don't remember exactly what's going on, but he's like trying to distract somebody, and then his face starts getting fucked up. I remember there's parts in the movie where I'm like, that's a nat 20, that's a nat 1. There he just rolled a nat 1, and it's great. There was the overweight dragon rolling about. I remember when I was watching it with Clay, we were both cracking up, and I was thinking to myself, I don't remember if I whispered this to him or not, I was like, if you listen closely, you can hear the players at the table laughing their asses off when the DM says, a portly dragon emerges and he fucking rolls after you. It's amazing. It's so good. This is bad. Is it this bad? I don't think it's that bad, but it's pretty fucking terrible. It's not interesting. It's like, I think the Strange World itself looks kind of cool, kind of fun, kind of, it's just, to me, it's just nothing. Lightyear bothers me more because of its Toy Story connections. To me, this is really what Lightyear is if Lightyear wasn't connected to Toy Story. It's just nothing to me. It's just not good. But it's not quite a D tier. Like, it's whatever. Like, I felt like just actively disengaging with this a lot more, so I'd put it there. Megamind's great. If you've seen it, you know it. It's phenomenal. We've talked about it enough on this shit, blah, blah, blah. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I think I'd put it up here. It's a really funny movie. It has a very heartwarming ending. I love Steve Martin. I love John Candy. I wouldn't quite put it in S. Some of the gross out humor is a little too much for me, but for the most part, I think it's just really, 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 really good. The Spiderverse twins. I rewatched 1 after watching 2. I would say this. Maybe, I do think some of these movies are going to have to be moved down if Spider-Verse 2 is only an A tier movie. But it really comes down to, I love this movie visually. I think it's probably one of the best looking animated films I've ever seen. The backgrounds are super creative. The animation is fantastic. The character designs are great. All the jokes in the background, little spider people. Bang, 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 ding, 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 ding. I love Spot. I think Spot is great. I love a lot of these individual spider people. But the whole Spider Society canon event thing, I don't know how much I really like it, and I feel like the more I think about it, the less I like it. I don't hate it by any means. It's not going anywhere near here. Near here. I think I got a bit of a twang for a second. I like this movie a lot. I love a lot of aspects of this movie. But I don't think I quite like the Spider Society stuff enough to give it an S. This, however, to me is like a perfect Spider-Man movie. It is about what it means to be Spider-Man. You can't save everybody, Miles. Like, I get super emotional, like, when I think of that scene, and it's from John Mulaney playing Flash animated Spider-Ham. And it just, like, breaks my soul, because that is what it means. Like, you can't be Spider-Man until you've lost somebody. Because that's when you learn what your great responsibility is. The What's Up Danger scene is one of my favorite scenes in, like, any animated movie and any superhero property. It's fucking perfect. The scene of Peter B meeting Aunt May, and it's not his Aunt May, and she's not his, like, you know what I mean? And it doesn't matter, because even if they're not each other's, like, actual aunt and nephew, it's still an Aunt May and a Peter. And he needs someone who understands him, at least to some degree, who can just be present with him. And she knows what Peter goes through, even if it's not always the exact same. And that just, you look tired, Peter. I am, Aunt May. It, like, chokes me up. To me, it's a fucking perfect movie. I didn't even say anything about the villains. The villains are great. I barely said anything about Miles. Miles is great. I have to start moving some of these movies down. Like, if Spider-Verse is up here, man. Gotta move that down. I think I gotta move all 3 Trolls movies down. I can keep these up here. I think I'm gonna move these 2 down. This I'm gonna move down. This I'm gonna move down. What was this one again? That's RRR. Asteroid City. Asteroid City resonated with me a little bit more. No, I think I would put it down to A. It's like, damn, Spider-Verse is the one that was like, okay, we gotta start making some changes. Over the Hedge. You know, I would actually put it here. I think this movie's actually really funny. Super entertaining. I had a good time. I'm just crackies for Keith. I'd put it here. The Mario movie, I had a really good time. I have my problems with this movie. Here's the thing. I've heard a lot of people say, it's like, dude, it's a Mario movie. You don't need a lot of story. You don't need a lot of characters. You just need to have a good time. That's fine. That's fair. I grew up with Pixar movies. I grew up with a movie about a fucking cowboy doll and a space ranger, and it being a movie that is really good. And as I've grown up, I've resonated with it on a more personal level. I grew up watching a movie about a talking toaster, vacuum, electric blanket, radio, and a desk lamp. That as a kid, I thought, they're talking objects, it's great. And as an adult, I went, oh, this is why I have depression. I get it now. So I want my animated films, I want my quote-unquote kids films to have more bite to it, to have more depth to it. I enjoyed this movie for what it was. I really did. I liked it a lot. I would say it's an A-tier film. Maybe a B-tier film. Somewhere around here, but I'll be a little nicer because I still like the Mario stuff. But I still want my movies to have more to it, though. And this movie almost does. And I was like, I want to give you a bit more of a pass. This is your first one. I mean, not their first animated film. Like, this is your first video game adaptation, as far as I'm aware, from Illumination. This is Nintendo's first animated film, at least in a long time. Detective Pikachu was an anime, and honestly, I really liked it. I like Detective Pikachu more than I like the Mario movie, but I'm also a Pokemon guy, so take the however you want to take it. I feel like I'll be more critical of the second one. If the second one is just more of the same and still doesn't really have like good characterization or good depth, I am going to be less forgiving of it, but I still enjoyed this. Madagascar 2 is like here. I feel like there's enough funny shit like with the penguins to keep it from being lower, but it's not great. Madagascar 3 is fucking hysterical. It's amazing. This one's like here. I don't think it's that good. The recurring joke from the octopus of just saying celebrity names to me got really old really fast. I just didn't really get into the movie. I'm just a little person. I fucking love Synecdoce, New York. This movie hit me in a very personal place. Like the way that Sonny Boy did, the way that Ruby Season 9 did. I think it's amazing. I think it is phenomenal. I kind of just loved everything about it. Abominable, I think, is okay. I think the first third of the movie is fantastic about... what's her name? I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I feel so bad. Like, about the girl and, like, her... the way she's coping with the death of her father, I think is beautiful. I think it's great. And then the last 2/3 of the movie with Everest are like, oh, okay, this is fine. There's moments where I think it's still really good, but overall I think it's okay. The Jim Carrey Christmas Carol, which I watched on Christmas. Yeah, I'd put it in B. There's moment... From what I understand, this is a very faithful adaptation of the original work, which I don't think I've ever read. I've just seen it parodied constantly or adapted constantly. I think it's... In regard to trying to get the point across, I think it does a good job. But there's also moments where I'm just kind of... Like when Scrooge is balancing a barrel with his legs. I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I get it. You're animated. You want to have a little bit more fun. Give something nice for the kiddies. But I don't know. But I feel like the soul of A Christmas Carol is there, and I enjoyed it. Killers of the Flower Moon, I'd probably also put it in B. This is not a movie that I loved. And I'll be honest, I didn't really enjoy watching it. And I don't think it's a poorly made film. I just think this has such unfortunate and uncomfortable subject matter that I just wasn't having fun watching it. I mean, to be fair, like, neither is Oppenheimer. But I don't know, like, I enjoyed Oppenheimer more than I did. Like, this is about a conflicted man doing something that he knows is wrong, but there's almost the right reasons for it. It's to stop the Nazis. And then it gets used on people who aren't the Nazis, which is where a lot of the guilt comes in. And I just love how it hits home. This is about unpleasant people doing awful shit to people who don't deserve it. It is not pleasant to watch. Is it well made? Yes, but it's... I keep saying, like, it's so unpleasant and it's so long that I didn't have a good time. Oh, I was trying to put it here, but, like, dude, I love this. I love Scream movies. It's a damn shame all the shit happening behind the scenes now with Scream 7, man. I'm so upset. I'm so mad, but at least I have Scream 6. I really like the core 4. I like what they did with the killers. I like a lot of the kills in this movie, what they did in the opening scene, because, you know, there's always some really cool, fun shit they do in the opening. I think it's great. I think the whole movie is great. There's definitely some moments where I'm like, that person should probably be fucking dead, but they're alive, and it's kind of bullshit, but I'll give it a pass. It's not my favorite Scream movie. I think that Scream 1 followed very, very closely by Scream 4. I love Scream 4. I like 6 a lot, too. The Mobile Suit Gundam movies, technically I only saw the first 2 in 2023, but I watched the last one a little bit ago. I would put them in B. I think they're fine. I don't love them. I don't dislike them. I think there's a lot of just kind of... They're kind of just okay for a lot of them. But then there's some really interesting shit, like the woman who is like firing a missile and the blowback knocks her out of the plane and she dies. That's a really memorable scene to me. Rambaral and all the shit with him is awesome. The final confrontations between Amuro and Char, I think, are quite good. I really like the Zabi family, and the way Caecilia goes out is really fucking cool. I think there's enough here to put it in B, and just the idea of, like, this is, I mean, not technically the movie, it was the show, but this is what started Gundam. I can give it a B for that, for the respect. Shrek 3, I think, is really funny. I don't know if I would quite put it in an A. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it, but I'm like, there's a lot of things that don't work. But I would definitely put it above this one, personally. I think that's kind of fair. If 1 and 2 were here, they'd both be S-tier movies. Eternal Sunshine, for me, is an S-tier movie. I absolutely loved it. I love the idea. I love the execution of the idea. I love the ending. I think the ending is fascinating. There is a deleted scene, and I'm so mad that it's deleted. Without it, I think the movie still works very well. With it, it adds so much more depth to some aspects of the movie that I almost want to, like, put it down to A because that scene is deleted, because it's so good. But I can just pretend that it's in the movie because I've seen it, and I'm like, yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. And then last but not least, because it doesn't go down here, the Little Mermaid remake, I really enjoyed it. I did. There's aspects of this movie I liked more than the original. Not many. I would say a solid 8 to 9 times out of 10. If you asked me if I wanted to watch The Little Mermaid, I would choose the animated version. But 1 or 2 times out of 10, I might say, you know what? The animated version. Because I do really like the relationship between Ariel and Eric. The kiss the girl scene, and instead of it just being Sebastian going, Ariel, her name is Ariel. And Ariel actually being able to communicate with him without talking it, I think is so fucking sweet. I think it's great. I think it's beautiful. I absolutely love it. So here we go. Let me think real quick. It's like, in terms of my animated films, this is my S tier, or this is my double S. This is also up there for its emotional impact. I think that's accurate. This is the double S for John Wick movies. And honestly, it has a strong argument for being my favorite live action. Like, John Wick 2 or Scream 6. Okay, these two are made by the same person. I would put Synecdoce... this isn't actually an order tier list. This is just from my own brain. I would put that above that for just stronger emotional resonance. This or Scream 6. Again, the emotional resonance versus a really fucking good Scream movie. But then RRR... Probably Ash! Oh, this movie was so fun, man. Like, the emotional resonance movies, I feel like, are kind of like the two of these, and... did I enjoy Andre more than RRR? I don't know. Almost for different reasons, I maybe did. I think I would put them above Synecdoche, New York, as much as I loved it. I'm not going to put all of these in double S. I think I'll move Scream down. So let's say, kind of like here. Here was probably my favorite just in terms of, like, all the crazy shit. Here was some, like, really interesting... It wasn't exactly emotional resonance, although the shit with the list, absolutely. This is the best John Wick movie. Honestly, though, this probably is my favorite live-action movie I saw this year. Even more than RRR. I think I'll leave it as is. And then here... I don't like having multiple bottom of the fucking barrels, especially multiple from the same company. I mean, technically the same company, it's still Disney, but pure Disney and Pixar. I could move that up to F. I think it is the bottom of the fucking barrel of Pixar. But God, I hate it so much. I kind of do want to put it down here. Home, I can justify being up there, but I don't want to give it the dignity. This is awful. This is art and how bad it is. You know what? I'm going to keep it here. We're going to have 3 double S's. We're going to have 4 bottom of the fucking barrel contenders. And I think that's it. I think that'll do it for the movies, which does it for the 2023 tier list. Boy, these have been long. This is, gosh, how long was this? I think this was like 2 hours or 2.5 hours to record this. I told my buddy I wanted to go over to his place to finish the Scott Pilgrim anime. I had intended to head out or be there around 30 minutes ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop. Hopefully I can go communicate with him and he won't be too upset. I totally get if he is, but there we go. The 2023 tier lists. I hope you watched these, and if you did, I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you had a great year in 2023 overall. A great year with the media you consumed. I hope you don't have multiple movies in bottom of the fucking barrel. I hope your year was a double S tier year. I hope the same for 2024. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, I guess.